What is up, the Lions fans? It's your boy Motor City Don P, and we are back here once again. You already know what it is when you see me in front of your TV. It's three things. One thing's for certain and three things is for sure. Number one is that the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, we came to give you stats, not none of that static. Number three, perhaps the most important number of them all. Number three, we want to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And you may be asking yourself, how, Don? How, Mr. P, does one keep their Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's a very simple process, and I'm glad you asked. I'll let you know. I'll let you know right now what it is. Number one, smash like button. Number two, subscribe. Number three, share. And whatever order you've done it in, you've done it, and you've kept your Lions news pragmatic. And indeed, sharing is indeed caring. So when you share this stream with your mothers, your uncles, your cousins, your fathers, your sisters, your brothers, your uncles, your nieces, your nephews, your mothers, your fathers, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your nephews, you name it. You name it. You have indeed shared and cared about these people. What is up, though, everybody in the chat, everybody who is watching, who is not in the chat, and everybody who will be in the chat? What it is, what it was, what it used to be. What it is, what it was, what it will be. Shout out to everybody on that level. We are going to go ahead and get into some things today. I've got an hour, and then I've got to get up out of here. I cannot hang around, right? When I go to the movies or I go downtown, somebody's telling me, you better not hang around. Okay, so I don't have time to hang around. I can't hang around today. What up, though, Kay? Kay coming in with the heat. You know what I'm saying? I got that Sam Cooke going. She's like, old ass. What you know about Sam Cooke? I know about Sam Cooke. What you know about Sam Cooke, Kay? Anyway, Alim McNeil is the news of, well, not the day. I mean, we had this news before, but it's looking good. It's looking on the horizon of positivity. And the question is, could the Detroit Lions get Alim McNeil back before Halloween? Well, it could be even sooner than that. So we're going to go ahead and dive into this article that I have from the doc. Okay. Detroit Lions on SI. You already know what it is. Friend of the show, the doc. He's been on my show multiple times. And here it goes. It said, could Alim McNeil return before Detroit Lions bye week? Now, I said Halloween. Halloween, as the old people say. Halloween. All right. Let me pop this chat out right quick. As you already know, you know what I'm saying, I got 3 workers, you know what I'm saying, I got 3 cars in the shop, you know what I'm saying, I got some workers in it, you know what I'm saying, I'm waiting for a payment so I can get, you know, the cars in, yeah. Anyway, I like doing that, so I popped the chat out. All right. Oh, you're not talking about Sam Cooke, you're just talking about, who old then? Who's old? What up, Motown Arts and Travel, or as he's formerly known as, here's Johnny. All right. So could Alim McNeil be returned before Detroit Lions bye week? The Detroit Lions could have the services of defensive lineman Alim McNeil sooner than expected. Okay, good news. What up, though, Tactical Sport? Just hours after head coach Dan Campbell told reporters the talented defender could return to practice this week, he updated McNeil's potential return timeline. Okay, so listen, Dan Campbell giving 2 updates in the same time frame, okay, just a couple hours apart, is not normal. Okay, Dan Campbell is excited about Alim McNeil coming back. He can't wait to get Alim McNeil back. So, yes, he is giving those updates. What up, though, Brent Lighton? Okay. She comes and talk about her godmom. How are we supposed to know, okay? Anyway, just hours after head coach Dan Campbell told reporters the talented defender could return to practice this week, he updated McNeil's potential return timeline. During his weekly radio interview on 97.1 The Ticket, Campbell was asked if McNeil had the potential to return to action prior to the team's bye week. Detroit has 3 games ahead before their week 8 bye. Campbell's squad faces the Bengals, Chiefs, and Buccaneers before their week off. I think we're going to see if we can do that and how comfortable he is, said Campbell. So much of it is about what does he look like? How does he feel? I think it would be nice to try to do that if we could, but we're not going to say for sure. All right, this is when you're playing. There's no doubt about it. Let's just see where he's at. All right. And whenever you read Dan Campbell quotes, you got to be a little bit, measured in your reading because, he'll double back on a word twice now. You know what I'm saying? He'll double back on a whole sentence, half a sentence, a quarter of a sentence. He'll throw you for a loop. So you got to be careful when you're reading his stuff. All right. Detroit's 5th-year head coach praised McNeil and the team's medical staff. A significant amount of work has been done to assist the former third-round pick in his efforts to return to practice and eventually back to the field to help Kelvin Shepard's defense. All right, see what y'all got going on in the chat. Let's see. Let's see. Brett Lighton says, Alim the Dream better have some new music written with all that time off. Just kidding. That dude was working his ass off. Did you get my question from yesterday? Your question from yesterday was, was about the Packers going undefeated? I think that's the question of the day, guys. Are the Packers still gonna go undefeated? Answer that in the chat. We'll know. If you know, you know. Use the hashtag. Don't be a Packers fan and not get the joke. All right. Dude, he's unbelievable, said Campbell. This guy, listen. See, I told you. He'll come back on you now. This guy, listen. He's been trending the right way and it's being honest, being conservative with him, making sure that we're smart about this. The guy has put in the work. He's looked phenomenal. We're talking about with Brett Fisher and those guys. We were talking in August about how good the guy looked and that he may be ahead of schedule. It's just this thing's taken off and his strength is really good in the knee. And that's see, I told you. And that's the biggest thing is getting the strength and flexibility back in the knee. Campbell commented further. And he got that pretty quick because of the work that he put into it. Okay, last year I was gonna start a Dan Camber. That's my guy, Dan Camber. I like him. I was gonna start a Dan Campbell anger translator series of videos, just because he's so when he talks, it's all over the place. So I was gonna start one of those. I don't know if anybody will watch it, but we'll see. Detroit tends to be conservative in their approach to playing members of the roster that are returning from injury. Campbell noted he wants McNeil to be able to produce and be able to protect himself. It's just been about, man. Let's make sure we're smart with this, Campbell said. That we reach that minimum threshold as to, okay, man, we know this thing is healed, it's ready, the flexibility is right, and the strength is right, and he can protect himself and produce, so he's there, we feel like. If the team decides to wait, the first game back from McNeil would be week 9 against the Minnesota Vikings. Okay, so let's see. Week 8, NFL. Okay, yes, and that would be before Halloween. Okay? Now let me give y'all a little bit of a taste of the preview of the Dan Campbell Anger Translator. This dude is jacked, man. He's ready to go. He's really freaking ready to go, man. And I just want to get him on the field so bad. I'm just telling y'all this and just doing all this coaching. I got to get him on the field, man. Man, I got to get him on the field. He's ready to go. There's no restrictions. There's nothing holding him back. We just want to get him on the field right now. That's what Dan Campbell wanted to say. I can't do like the Obama, anger translator, because obviously there's reasons, right? All right. Let's see what we got. The Packers are going to tie every game until Turkey Day and stay undefeated. Facts. Yesterday, I stated that Hutch said that they have to stop the run to earn the right to rush the passer. Is that why Melvin drafts the way he does, or is that a Dan Shep thing? Okay. Let's break this down. Young money. Hashtag if you know, you know. Use the hashtag. I'm going back through all of the seasons of Key and Peele, so there might be some new material coming out. Just wait. And this is like the Comedy Central, because I'm getting it on Paramount Plus. For some reason, I have Paramount Plus, okay? And I'm getting, I have Amazon Prime, and you're supposed to pay for Paramount Plus, but I don't pay for it. I don't know why. I'm not going to poo-poo it. I'm just going to benefit by watching Key and Peele all, was it 8 seasons? They're really very short shows if you think about it. The skits are really like 2-3 minutes, right? I didn't realize how short the skits were. Like, I used to watch them on YouTube all the time. But yeah. Anyway, so young man. All right, let's break this down. Well, 6th round. I don't know. Here's the thing with Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, Coach Shep. Let's just get this out of the way. Tyleik Williams was a Coach Shep pick. When they did the Inside of the Den situation, and then you saw Coach Shep interacting with Tyleik Williams, and he was over the moon that they were able to get him, and he told them like they really wanted him here. So that was a Coach Shep pick. Now, obviously, looking at it from the outside looking in, right? Coach Shep pick is Jihad Campbell. Why? Because Coach Shep is a former linebacker, and he's a former linebackers coach. So now what we're looking at with Coach Shep is the way they use Derek Barnes, for example. Derek Barnes is a Swiss Army knife, which is why they needed him to come back. Derek Barnes said he was never leaving anyway. So he got a discounted deal, and he was happy to stay. Derek Barnes helps them out in base defense, nickel defense. Like, if you see Derek Barnes out in coverage playing the big nickel, that's crazy, right? You also can see him playing defensive tackle. He moves around so much. So now you've got Tyleik Williams. And if you watch Tyleik Williams taking on double teams, he does a thing where he drops to his knee, which is famously what DJ Reader does. DJ Reader. Okay. So if you see, they want interior pressure above all else. If you look at the quarterback that we have, if you put pressure in his lap, he is going to have a bad game. I'm not going to say he's going to fold, because that's the old Jared Goff. Jared Goff year one would have folded when you put pressure in his lap. So we want to get pressure up the middle against all the other quarterbacks. It works to some extent. It works to some degree. If we look at what happened with Joe Flacco and the Browns, they had an atrocious game. But was it an atrocious game because the Browns offense was atrocious, or was it an atrocious game because they had so much pressure Well, not so much. Okay, let's see. There was a fair bit of pressure on Joe Flacco. There was a fair bit of speeding up the clock. Okay, it wasn't constant. It wasn't consistent. It wasn't Lamar Jackson level. I think this has had. I don't know. In some instances, it may be easier to game plan against a mobile quarterback. I'm just saying game plan. I'm not saying to stop or to execute that game plan. The way I'm looking at it is this: it may be easier to game plan against a mobile quarterback because you know he's going to leave the pocket. Okay? You know he's going to leave the pocket, so your whole plan is to keep him in the pocket. Don't let him leave. Right? So you're heavy on the contain and all these things. Well, with a statue quarterback in the back, he's not really going anywhere. So all you're trying to do is collapse the pocket around him. And then you have to have that interior pressure working for that to happen. The edge guys are going to be a little bit tighter and all these things. So I'm just kind of getting into the minutia of it. To answer your question, is that why they draft that way? Because you have to earn your right to rush the passer. I'm not going to say that that's why they draft the way they draft, but I am going to say that's why they keep some of the guys that they keep, sign some of the guys that they sign, and let some of the guys go that they let go. For example, James Houston. James Houston is a pure pass rusher, and that's his role. And, everyone, like, if you hated James Houston, you wanted to use the term one-trick pony. Well, when you come into a season and you only play 7 games and you get 8 sacks, that's a hell of a trick. Okay? That's a hell of a trick. Is he good in the run game? No. Is he good at setting the edge? No. Is he good at stopping the run? Not really. So they let him go. And then he goes to Dallas and he's having a similar impact, right? He doesn't play a whole lot of snaps, but when he does play the snaps, he gets in, he gets sacks, he gets strip sacks, and so on and so forth. So I would say that is why they make some of the personnel decisions that they make. Okay? Now, drafting, it is affected because if you looked at Tyleik Williams, where he was on the board, we knew Mike Green wasn't going to get drafted to the Detroit Lions because Mike Green has SA accusations. We knew Donovan Azaraku wasn't going to get drafted because he's smaller and you're looking at him like another James Houston. Right? Shamar Stewart is rumored to have been the target of a trade up for the Detroit Lions. Okay? So because he was the target of a trade up for the Detroit Lions, you have to look at his body type and you go, so what he can do on the outside is set the edge, stop the run, and also they feel like he can develop in rushing the passer. So I would say in a way, it is not a Dan and Shep or a Brad thing. I think it's a collective situation. I think when you're with the Detroit Lions, everyone has to buy into the same philosophy or it's not going to work. Now, they say in football, when you're all right, you're all wrong, right? So it's like if everybody when you're all wrong, you're all right. So if everybody in the defense or in the secondary or whatever is all doing the wrong thing, then they're all right. Right? Because it's like a law of physics. It's going to work itself out. Right? If everybody goes to the left when they were supposed to go right, unless it's just a completely busted coverage, right? So I'm not going to say that their philosophy is wrong or right, but if you're not all bought into the same philosophy, I don't see how it works. Like, there's a lot of situations in which the GM just doesn't work well with the coach. Okay. And when the GM doesn't work well with the coach and the GM doesn't understand the coach's philosophy, and the philosophy is not uh, married together, and it doesn't work, right? Because the GM is just picking people, right? We know Melvin loves cornerbacks, right? But if he was just drafting cornerback after cornerback after cornerback and neglecting the defensive line as a whole, then it wouldn't work. It would, like, you're not helping your team. Okay. There's a lot of moves that Jerry Jones makes that people question, but you can't deny that the Dallas Cowboys field a very talented team year in and year out. Now, the problem with this current iteration of the Dallas Cowboys, and I talked about this in the NFC North report, right? They don't have any discipline. That is the problem with it. It's not their talent. They have talent on offense. They have talent on defense. They have no discipline. The reason that they didn't beat the Green Bay Packers is because they were undisciplined. They had countless times to take that game and end it, but they didn't, because every time one of those times came up, they would commit a penalty. Whether it was lining up offsides in the neutral zone, whether it was a defensive holding, whether it was pass interference, whether it was a personal foul, unnecessary roughness, all types of stupid stuff going on. Very, very undisciplined, very, very not in the moment. So then that would also bleed into the cultural argument from the Detroit Lions, which, watching that game, watching some other games around the league, you get it. You have to buy into the culture aspect because it is very, very important. We are a very talented roster, but the culture just takes it to another level. So I hope I pretty much answered your question. You talk about music. What up to Braylon Dennis? He told Ron to shut up. It's not happening. I mean, that's the same way I feel. All right. So we're talking about this interior pass rush. We're talking about Alim McNeil coming back would be a big deal. If we're talking about pass rush, Alim McNeil has been the only defensive tackle that we've had that has shown he can consistently win up the middle and can consistently get in the backfield and can consistently pressure the quarterback from the interior. Now, what are the looks gonna be? Are you gonna have any? I don't think you're either gonna have any 5-down lineman sets. I just think that, I mean, you could, I just don't think you want to take any of your linebackers off the field, and I did say before, okay, not to toot my own horn, I was asked a question, right? I did say when I was asked the question, what is Shep's contribution? Like, what is he going to do differently with this defense to what AG did? And I said it was going to be more linebacker centric. Now you see, as I said earlier, you see with Derek Barnes just moving all over the place, and with the drafting of Tyleik Williams, it allows you to do other things. It allows you to when you watch him take on double teams, just exactly the same way that DJ Reader does. DJ Reader, meow. When you see them take on double teams in the same way, then you go, okay, now our linebackers can flow, right? we can flow left, we can flow right. Like, so if you're on a running play and I don't even know if you'll see this a lot against Cincinnati. The reason is because Cincinnati's ass, right? Cincinnati is terrible. Okay. They're freaking terrible. I think that what were they outscored like 76 or wait, it was 48-10. What was it? 23. Yeah. So it was like 28-3. So 76-13. The last two games is what they've been outscored. They can't run the football. Jamar Chase has had like 40 yards per game in this 2-game stretch. They're awful. Okay. And I think it was Troy Aikman that basically was saying that, what the problem with the Bengals is, okay, now that Joe Burrow is out, they're just like, okay, well, we want to be a running game or running team now. And it was like running the ball is a mindset. So you're not just going to start running the ball when you haven't been committed to the run. Okay. In Chicago, you're seeing Osama bin Johnson being a lot more committed to the run, okay, than he was in Detroit. And his offense still sucks. It's I don't know if anybody watched the Bears game, and I will do an NFC North report. I've just been super busy these last couple of days. Right after this, I got to go to court for something really, really stupid. Something that was not my fault at all. And I chose to go to court because it was a traffic offense that I got due to some people that I had in the car. And I told them I was being distracted by these idiot people. They were touching me. They just, they're just loud. They wanted to party, all this other stuff. So I was slightly speeding and I went through a speed camera. So basically they said that they were going to uphold the infringement because I had a previous speeding ticket from less than 2 years ago. I'm like, what does that have to do with me being tampered with while I'm driving my car? But anyway, so yeah, busy couple of days. So let's see what here. Brandon Martin, what up, though? He says, Alim, come back. This defense is going to be dangerous. Him and Williams in the backfield and DJ Reader. That's what I'm saying. If you had them, so is Alim going to take some snaps away from El Qadim Muhammad? Is he going to kick to the outside sometimes? How is that going to be deployed? But the thing with having those defensive tackles, now you open things up for the linebackers and they can flow left and right, and all of these things. So as I said, I'm guessing you're going to see similar things against the Bengals because the Bengals have no choice but to double team, right, in the interior. It's not like they can block you hat on a hat because they're terrible, right? But we'll see what happens with that. Like, I'd love to see Tyleek go get his first sack this season on Jake Browning. I'd love to see DJ Reader get a sack, on Jake Browning. I'd love to see El Qadim Muhammad get a sack on Jake Browning. I'd love to see Hutch get a sack on Jake Browning. I'd love to see Derek Barnes get a sack. Alex Anzalone get a sack. Jack Campbell get a sack. Brian Branch get a sack. I'd love to see all these people get a sack apiece. Right? Because the Bengals are without Joe Burrow, the Bengals look like they have zero direction. Right? And their first game with Joe Burrow wasn't great either. Right? The points that he put up, I think they put up like 20 points or something in the first, and remember, they almost lost to the Browns. It was just the Browns didn't have a kicker that could make a kick. So the Bengals have not been good from the jump. And now with Burrow being injured and Browning being in there, I don't think they have too much of an opportunity to do anything. I don't think they have too much of a chance for anything this season, with Burrow being out 3 months. If they hadn't beat the Browns in week number 1, I would say they're a candidate to go 0-17. That's how bad they are. Yes, just like they did against Lamar, they kept sacking him. Right. So Jake Browning is terrible, bro. You know, the Bengals in themselves, it's a terrible team. So we looking ahead to I have a question for you guys. Looking ahead to the Kansas City Chiefs game. Do you think they're back, or do you think that was just, number one, the Ravens being bad, number two, the Kansas City Chiefs having the Ravens number? Because it feels like since they tried to make Lamar and Mahomes a thing, Mahomes is always getting the better of Lamar, whether it's the regular season or the playoffs. I think Lamar has like one win against the Chiefs. That's fantastic, Ron. You must be so happy that you guys have gone 100+ years without someone throwing 4,000 yards. Welcome to modern football. We have cookies. What up, though, JSJ? He says, you think TA is playing as bad as everyone is putting out? He's still playing better than Okuda. Also, why is no one picking up Asante Samuels Jr.? He would be a good addition. I think so. To answer your back end question, I think his injury history is something. I think it's something like that. I don't know. I really don't know. It's crazy. Maybe he's asking prices too much. I have no idea. But we definitely could pick him up. Is TA playing as badly as everyone thinks he's playing? No, he's not. Was he getting cooked in the Browns game? Yes. So I think TA is just in his own head. I think he's in his own head because we've seen he worked on his craft the entire offseason. We saw the dividends when he got to training camp and how he was, shutting down J-Mo and shutting down Amon-Ra. I just feel like he's in his head, and he's going to have to get out of his head. That's all. Jeffrey Namumbo, oh hell no Kuda, still gets love around Detroit sometimes, and I don't know why that happens. The dude was bad at football. And he's a guy that I've said consistently looked like he'd never played football before. Shout out my guy KG. But this morning, he said they were talking about Kyle Van Noy and why he couldn't have been good here. And they said he was in the wrong system. He had a bad regime, just like Jeffrey Namumbo Ohel Nakuda. And I was like, no, not just like that. Because Jeffrey Namumbo Ohel Nakuda is on his 4th team in 4 years. He is the 3rd cornerback in Minnesota. He's not good. I'm sorry. He never was good. He never had the opportunity to be good. He was never an NFL corner. He may have been dominant in college, which I don't know about that because, as I said, I had to look him up. I didn't know who he was. But he's just not good. And I just don't understand. I don't understand the nostalgia. I don't understand the need to look back and give him a pass for something. A pass for what? For sucking? Like, what are we doing? Do we look back at Jerry Jacobs and be like, huh? Right? Do we look back at freaking freaking who else? You name it. You name it. Do we look back at Tease Tabor and go, huh? Like, I don't understand with this Jeffrey Numumba Honakuda. Why? Why do we do this? I understand he was drafted 3rd overall. It was a wasted pick. It was a wasted pick. That's why I crashed out when they drafted him. It was a wasted pick. But we got to move on from the fact that he was a wasted pick. We have to move on from that's like, it's tinting our glasses. They're a little bit rose colored because he was the 3rd overall pick. He was a bust. He was a bust. That's why they invented the term. He was a bust. It's okay. Those people are not picking for the Detroit Lions anymore. It's fine. Okay. Who's JUJ? What up, though, Paul Thomas? Salute to you, my guy. Is Tease Tabor suiting up for us on Sunday? No. Tease Tabor, the last I checked, Tease Tabor was like in the UFL or something. No. Your Bears have a lot of ways to pick, Ron. I will kumbaya with you on that one. I will agree with you. They've got a lot of ways to pick. All right. So we talked about Alim McNeil coming back. We got a few more things on the docket before I have to get out of here. These headlines, bro, sometimes. So if you guys cared, the Lions, they cut Ronnie Bell and they brought in a former Packers linebacker for the practice squad. I'm not really sure we care about that. The Lions signed veteran LB Ty Summers to practice squad. Yeah, that's who it was. All right. So do we have any updates on the severity of the DJ Reed injury? So NFL insider Ian Rappaport reported Monday that Reed is a candidate to be placed on injured reserve. Although the injury would not require surgery, Campbell appeared to echo the same sentiment shortly after. He's going to be down for a while, but the good news is it's not a season ender. We will get him back. It looks like. So that's the good news. I saw something, I think yesterday, it was about the timetable for like a minor, mild, and severe hamstring pull or injury. I think the minor was like 1 to 2 weeks. The moderate or mild was like 3 to 4 weeks, and then the severe was 6 to 12. I want to say it looks severe because you got carted off. You don't generally get carted off when nothing's happening, right? So it looks severe. So if it's a 6 to 12 week thing, okay, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So cornerback depth getting huge tests ahead of week 5. Everybody can point the finger at Arnold, but you know why we were able to knock out the run game, because he was playing with no help behind him for probably 50% of that game, Shepard said. Now, that's no excuse. It's just a job you signed up for. You signed that contract as a corner in the NFL. You're expected to do that, but let's make no mistake about it. I told the D-line, how would you like to go out there on an island while you guys are having fun here in the box, knowing there's nobody back there? All right, so this was what Coach Shep was saying about Terrion against the Baltimore Ravens. Mr. Detroit City comes in with the epic troll. of Christian Wilkins. Has he been signed by anyone? Has anyone brought him in for an interview or anything? The Lions ask a lot of their corners because of how much they play in their base defense. They had already mentioned before Reed's injury that they wanted to get nickel Amik Robertson more reps on the outside, and he definitely seems like the most likely candidate to take over opposite Arnold. But if the Lions decide they want to keep Robertson at the nickel, then Khalil Dorsey, Rock Ya-Sin, and Avonte Maddox seem like the next logical answers outside. Now, I do not want to see Khalil Dorsey outside. No. Sorry, like Khalil Dorsey's special teams ace, all that, we get it, wonderful. We tried that experiment before, guys. Remember when Khalil Dorsey and I just said his name earlier, Jerry Jacobs. Okay, remember when they were lining up opposite of Cam Sutton? And Khalil Dorsey got a few snaps, and then it was just Jerry Jacobs the rest of the way. It was like, nah, forget this. We know who won the competition. Hell, Jerry Jacobs was better than Jeffrey Namumba or hell no Kuda. How does a guy take you under his wing and you wind up being better than him? Because Jerry Jacobs was always like, oh, Jeffrey Namumba is the big homie, blah 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 blah, and he teaches me a lot, and yada yada yada. How did that man take you under his wing and you wound up being better than him? That's crazy. But anyway, we don't want to see Khalil Dorsey out there. So let me look this up. Because I don't know. Let me see his injury history. Okay. Now I know why no one's picked him up. It says Asante Samuel Jr. is recovering from neck surgery, a spinal fusion performed in April of 2025 to address a persistent injury that limited him to 4 games in the 2024 season. He's scheduled for a CT scan in October to ensure the surgery was successful. And he intends to sign with an NFL team for the second half of the 2025 season. Medical concerns have limited teams' interest in him, but he is still considered young with potential if his injury heals properly, and he has reportedly maintained contact with several interested teams, including the New Orleans Saints. He just had spinal fusion surgery a few months ago. Welcome to Detroit, Asante. Welcome to Detroit. Oh, he's got a medical history. He's got an injury history. Brad is on the phone right now. Brad's like, I give you 2 1s. I give you 2 1s and 2 2s. What you want to do? And his agent is like, brother, you can't give us draft picks. You got to give us money. He's a free agent. Yeah. Let me see. Said I wouldn't mind seeing Dorsey outside. ... The 53-man roster. Facts. Boom roasted. Who's next? Woodward Sports. You aren't allowed to criticize 2 guys, J-Mo or Terrion Arnold. If you do, they crash out. I rather see Rock Ya-Sin. Well, Rock Ya-Sin, so yeah, but Rock Ya-Sin is also safety depth, right? He's a converted corner, like he's a corner, but they wanted to see what he could do in safety depth. So Paul Thomas, my thing with J-Mo is you can criticize anybody for having a bad game. I love J-Mo. I'm the official keeper of the J-Mo. Everybody knows that. He didn't have a great game last week against the Browns. Did he need to have a great game? No, he didn't. What up, though, Zach J? He dropped passes and Jared Goff missed him on quite a few passes. Where it triggers me when you criticize J-Mo is when you wear Oakleys and you do it, right? When it is racially motivated. That is my only problem. Because J-Mo is immensely talented and he helps your team win football games. So when you, like, there was a fan, and I don't know if you guys watched the pre-recorded show that I did yesterday, but I addressed this situation in the show because it triggered me. It pissed me off because we had this fan who I've never seen before. He came in there and he was just taking shots at J-Mo. Like, he's not a real football player. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a real football player, blah, blah, blah. So you could see it was something other than football that was involved in it. And at some point during the live stream of the game, I told the chat, I said, look, y'all handle that because I'm not going to deal with it. Right? That's the only thing with me. If you like, remember, I don't know, Paul Thomas, I don't know if you were in the chat years ago, a couple years ago, when I called into what was it called? The Morning Woodward at the time. And Sam Flannel was on there and he had said he couldn't see any talent in J-Mo. And that I called in and ripped him a new one. And that started the beef between me and Sam Flannel, right? Now, Sam Flannel wasn't about racism. Sam Flannel was upset because people loved the kid and they wanted to give him time. Like, it was some real hater stuff. Like, I hate the fact that people give him love. Wow, right? Like, if you ever say something like that about a person who's not a bad person, right? So if you ever say that about a person that is not a bad person, then you're just like, that's wild. It's hate. Like, I'm never going to say. So I know some bad people in this industry, and there's one person in particular who y'all know I hate. Okay, because he owes me money and he threatened to sue me after not paying me the money that he owes me. Okay, and he's just a dreadful human being. The fact that he still has subscribers pisses me off, because I know the kind of person that he is. But if you're talking about a person that's not a bad person, hasn't done anything to anybody, and you go, oh, I hate the fact that Detroit loves him, that's just some hater stuff. That's like supreme hater. Okay, so just the thing with J-Mo. Okay, so there's a segment of the population, and they have profile pictures wearing Oakleys. Okay, who they just move the goalposts. Yeah. Oh, he's a thug. This, that, and oh, he has to mature. Blah, blah. Okay, so when he matures, and he says all the right things and does all the right things, and he has an off season and a season where he's not getting into any trouble, then they want to move the goalposts and find something else. Oh, see, he dropped the pass. See, he's no good. Oh, why did he only get 2 targets? Oh, like it's so when it's that type of thing, nah. But if you want to say, oh, he didn't have a good game on Sunday, be my guest. Be my guest. Didn't have a good game. Right? Was he better in the blocking and the run game? Yeah. Right? But as a receiver, wasn't a great game from him. But just like Jared Goff said, I have no problems. I don't have any concerns about his confidence or him bouncing back against the Bengals. You know? Yeah, no, Paul, I wasn't lumping you into not loving him or anything. I'm explaining my point, why I will crash out if it's just unnecessary hate. You know what I'm saying? But no, anybody, again, my guy, I am the official keeper of the J-Mo. If he has a bad game, I will tell you he had a bad game. If Jahmyr Gibbs has a bad game, I'll tell you he had a bad game. If Amon-Ra has a bad game, if Jared Goff has a bad game, if Sam Laporta has a bad, if David Montgomery, if anybody on this team has a bad game, I will tell you that they had a bad game because I'm being unbiased, right? I'm not just gonna tell you, you know. So if you take away the drops that J-Mo had, then it's all on Jared Goff because Jared Goff was missing him. Okay. But then Jared Goff even took away one of his drops and said that was my fault. The one where he had to change shoulders. Right. But I'm not taking away drops. Like he did drop a couple passes. He didn't have a great game. Right. But yeah, so that I just wanted to explain that part. Well, I appreciate you, Paul Thomas. All right, let's see what else y'all got, and then Mr. Detroit City is going to troll J-Mo for 5 more years. 5 more years. 5 more years. John Morton was pissing me off more. Every player has an off game, but Morton just kept trying. There were 2 things that Morton was doing. Morton was force feeding the run game because there was that beef, right? And I'm still looking for Jim Schwartz. Anybody seen Jim Schwartz in the hood? I haven't seen him. I went to his hood and they ain't see him either. And yes, he was forcing. Now, but here's the thing. Look at it this way, Zach J. They were practicing out there. Okay. Shout out to Tactical Sport because he said something like, this game has been out of reach for quite some time. And he was talking about once the Lions got up by 10. It was like the Cleveland Browns offense is so bad that they're not going to be able to put up 10 points. They're not going to be able to overcome a 10-point lead. So the thing that you could look at it this way, they've been talking about the vertical pass game. They've been talking about explosives like all offseason, right? And a lot of teams have been trying to limit J-Mo and his explosiveness and getting over the top and beating him deep, right? However, you could look at the Cleveland Browns as practice. Their defense, it was the number 1 defense. So number 1, he wanted to bust that defense up with the run because of what they said about, he gave him bulletin board material and then he acted indignant, right? And he was right. They were averaging 57.3 yards given up per game on the ground. We went in and I think we had 103, right? Their secondary, one of the best secondaries, right? So he just wanted to blow that thing over and blow the top off of it. And I didn't mind it because of the caliber of offense that we were going against, right? It was like, okay, the defense that we were going against was really, really good, but we were able to move the ball against them. I just think you kind of approach that like practice. Let's work on our deep ball here, right? It was odd, right? It's odd because their offense is so bad that that's the way that they felt about the game. Mr. Detroit City, I didn't leave LNU. I still do LNU. The live streams are on LNU, and I still do LNU every Monday. Goff did indeed miss J-Mo twice. Facts. Paul Thomas, that is a trolling question. He knows Amon-Ra St. Brown. All right. Mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they reading you? Mailbag. Snick. Mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. All right, I got 4 minutes, y'all. So if y'all got mailbag questions, get them in. I'm gonna end this exactly at 8 p.m. because I've gotta go to court. So, and I'm gonna sit there for 3 hours, waste my time before I get called on. That's how they do it. All good, Tactical. Did you create that GitHub yet and hit me up on the Discord? Paul Thomas, Ron Winarski is the resident Bears fan. The Lions signed Trey Flowers. Get out of here. Paul Thomas, mailbag. Who are our 2 starting corners then on Sunday? It's probably going to be Amik and Rock Yassin. I don't know if it would be Avante. Avante used to play corner, but I feel like he's transitioned permanently into a safety now. So I would just say Amik and Rock Yassin. All right, Tactical, do that. All right. Any other mailbag questions? Going once, going twice. Oh, Trey Flowers is CB. Let's see. Okay, so 17 minutes ago, yep. They're signing him to the practice squad. I have to look into Trey Flowers. I've heard the name, but we'll see. Maybe if I have some time, I'll make a video about it. I know Derek. So basically, Lion Syndicate will make a video about this by the time I leave. So yes, go ahead and check him out. He definitely will have a video about it, and he'll probably give you a breakdown of his previous career. So we'll see. I'll try to look into it myself when I get some time today. I'm going straight from court to work, so it's going to be what it's going to be. No, Ron Winarski, I'm not going to jail at all. It's about a traffic offense. Rogue Blue must be a Bears fan. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Once again, the Motor City Cats R&D back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic, and we are out. Peace. Appreciate y'all.